Okay, welcome back all. So we had a bit of technical issue just now, right? So we're just basically restarting. Well, not restarting, but picking up where we left off. All right. So thank you for sticking around, and we're going to pick up where we left off shortly. All right. And if you're joining for the first time and haven't done so as yet, go ahead and subscribe. And after subscribing, go ahead and click that notification bell so that every time we do a live, every time we have a video uploaded, you will get that notification and will be able to access, right, our videos. All right. And also go ahead and share with others so that they too can benefit from the lessons that we provide here and the other resources that we provide, both learning and teaching materials. All right. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for subscribing. And thank you for your continued support. Okay, so we're about to pick up where we left off with our questions. So there we go. All right, so we were talking about this question, and we did our factors, right? So we did our factors, and we got our factors to be negative 4x, negative 4, we'll put our x there, and positive 3. So we're going to go ahead and let me just rewrite the question. So it is 2x squared minus x minus 6. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to take these two factors and we're going to replace them here. So we're removing negative x and we're replacing negative x with negative 4x and positive 3. All right, so our 2x squared will still be there. Our negative x no longer there, but we now have negative 4x plus 3x, and then minus 6 at the end. From here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to factorize by grouping. So we group our first two and we group our last two. Now we have 2x squared minus 4x, and our focus is only on 2x squared minus 4x. As a matter of fact, you can forget about this part for now. This is not our focus. Our sole focus is on 2x squared minus 4x. So we're grouping, we group, and we're factorizing the first two. So looking at 2x squared minus 4x, what's the highest number can divide into 2 and also divide into 4? Oh, that's 2. Yes, it is. So we go ahead and write down our 2. Then we look at x squared and x. What's the highest? We look at x squared and x. Or we look at all variables and we realize that the x is common to both sides, right? So go ahead and write down that x. And we write down the lowest power for that x. So the power here is 2. Here we do not see a power. So when we do not see a power for a variable, the power is always 1. All right? So the lowest power that we're going to write down for x is 1. And now we open our bracket. Let's just move this out a bit. So we have our 2x here, and the lowest power is 1, and we open our bracket. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to say 2x divide into 2x squared. And 2 into 2 is 1, x into x squared leave us with x. So we divide our HCF into each term. We do the same thing with the next term. So we're going to say 2x divide into 4x. And 2x divided into 4x is 2 into 4, 2. So we have minus 2 and x cancel x. All right, or x into x is 1. And 2 times 1 will just give us 2. All right, so all we're left with there is 2. I will close our bracket. So we're finished with the first pair. All right, and now we go to the next pair. And if you want, you hide over here as well. You're finished with this part. This doesn't concern you. You're going to factorize this pair as you would factorize simple expressions. So we have 3x minus 6. Looking at 3x and 6 now. What is the highest number you can divide into 3 and also divide into 6? Oh, that's 3. All right. So we're going to put down our HCF is positive 3. And we're going to look to see if we have any variables that is common to both terms. So looking at both terms, we see an x here, but is there an x here? No. So that means that x is not going to be a part of my HCF. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to open my bracket. And the same procedure, x divided into 3x. 3x divided by x. X cancel x, leave us with just 3. So x, so not x, oops, my apology. Let's correct that. So it's not x divided into 3x, but 3x divided by 3. So 3 into 3, 1, and 3 into 3, 1. So leave us with just x. So 3x divided by 3 is x. Good. And the next part we're going to do is 3 divided into 6, or negative 6. So we're going to say 3 divided into negative 6, and that's negative 2. Or you could have put down your sign, which is a minus, and say 3 into 6, and you would have gotten 2 just the same. So we just factorize each part. And now we can remove those blockage that we place in there. Now at this step, it's very important for you to check what is in the brackets. And whatever is in this bracket must be in this bracket exactly. If not, you have made a mistake, or it's a case where you cannot factorize using this method. All right, so it's either one, you've made a mistake, or you cannot factorize using this method. So check in x minus 2 here, x minus 2 there. Great. Now I'm going to go ahead and write down one of those brackets. So I can go ahead and write down x minus 2 close bracket. Then for the next one now, right, next bracket, it is going to be what's outside of each bracket. So 2x is outside of that bracket, and 3 is outside of that bracket. So we're not going to leave them out there in the cold. No, we're going to put them in a bracket. We're going to put them in a nice, safe place. So we'll put it here, 2x plus 3. And there we have it. Right? So that's how we factorize a quadratic expression. And that's for 2 marks. So I give you a minute just to take that down. And if you have any question, right, not so sure about something that I have done, go ahead and comment that question now and in the chat section, and I will give you a response as soon as I see your question. All right, so go ahead and do that for me if you have any question. And also leave a comment. Let us know how we did in this video so we can improve for the next one. All right. All right, so we're going to scroll down now to our next question. And our next question is equation. And we're asked to solve this equation. So in solving this equation now, it is r plus 3 equals 3, open bracket, r minus 5. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the bracket first. So let me just rewrite the question so that it's clear for you, right? All right, so it's r plus 3 equals 3, open bracket, r minus 5. And for this question, we see a bracket, right? And coming from BODMAS and BOOMDAS and PEMDAS time, we know that we're supposed to remove that bracket. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to say 3 times r gives us 3r, and 3 times negative 5 gives us negative 15. Quite easy, don't you think? Yes, it is. And what is on our left hand side remain untouched. So we'll put it there. Some colors. Nice. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do now is that we're going to group. All right. So we're going to group our like terms, and we have R here and 3R there. And here we have a constant and another constant there. So we're going to group. All right. So we're going to group the R's to one side, and we're going to group the constants to the other side. So in doing that, here I can go ahead and subtract 3r from both sides. All right, so now I have r subtract 3r, which gives me negative 2r. That is negative 2r plus 3 equals negative 15. And this is just because I'm explaining, but for you sitting the exam, I want you to be able to do both of these steps, and the second step and the first step in one go. All right. So for the second step now that I'm doing is to subtract 3 from both sides. So I'm bringing this 3 here onto the other side. All right. So to get it there, I got to balance. So I subtract it from the left and also subtract it from the right. Keep the scale balanced. All right. So we now have negative 2r, good, equal negative 15 minus 3. So you owe me $15 and you come back and you borrow another $3. How much do you owe me in total? Oops, $18. So that's negative 18. All right. So now we have negative 2r equal negative 18. We want to find the value of r, so we're going to remove our negative 2 by dividing through by negative 2. So divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2 cancel negative 2. Negative 2 into negative 2, 1. Negative 2 into negative 18, that's positive 9. All right, oops, positive 9. All right, good. So now we have r equal 9. All right, and I'm expecting you to move from this step to this step. So you should have no more than 2 steps for this. All right, and then you come to your final answer there. All right, so that's the most I'm expecting you to do, 2 steps. All right, don't go through this long step or procedure like I did just for explanation purpose. But when you do that exam, you need to be quick as quick can be. All right, oops, let's give you about 30 seconds or a minute to copy that. And remember, if you're viewing live and you have any question whatsoever, all right, go ahead and comment that question, all right, in the comment section, and I will be happy to respond. All right. And also, if you haven't done as yet, go ahead and subscribe, share with students and help us to grow a channel, also help others to get the content that we're sharing so that everyone can get access to the best material out there, and also to so that you can help someone else master a concept that they're struggling with and actually get them to pass their exam. All right, so we give about 30 seconds more and then we move on to the next question. All right, we're going to continue now. So we're coming down to our next question. And it says, make K the subject of the formula. Oh, this is an interesting question. All right, so let's get right to it. So rewriting the question is 2a equal pi k squared plus 3t. So we write the question k squared. Yes. And I'm just going to put in bracket what we're making the subject, and that's k. All right, so making k the subject. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to try and remove what is further away from K. So K is like the king. K, king, right. All right, so K is the king. And it's a case where you are trying to get to be the king's right man, and you're trying to get rid of person gradually, because you're that kind of person that have the king's best interest at heart, and you believe that because you have the king's best interest at heart, you need to get rid of everyone else, move them down in the line so you can be the right hand. What happened is that 3t is further away. You can remove 3t first, so that's the first one. Then you can remove pi, that's the second move. Then you can remove the square, that's the third move. And then you would be the king right hand. See steps? So we're going to remove 3t first, we're going to remove pi, and we're going to remove the square. And if you look at it, we're removing what is added to it first, then we're moving what is multiplied, right, to it, and then we're moving the power last. All right, so let's go with it. So the first thing we're going to do is to subtract 3t from both sides. And in doing that, all right, so in doing that, we now have 2a minus 3t equal, so this gone, subtract it, it's gone. So we now have pi k squared. Good. Now we're going to remove the pi, and since it's been multiplied with the k, we are going to do the opposite, which is to divide. So we divide both sides. So we're not just going to put 2a, the line under 2a, or put 2a over t, but it's everything of, not t, but pi, but it's everything here divided by pi. And we say pi cancel pi. So we're now left with 2a minus 3t divided by pi equal k squared. So we're taking it apart layer by layer, right? So we're taking our time. So the next thing that we're going to do now is that we need to remove our square, and that's the last thing. And then we'll have k by itself. So our aim is to have k by itself on a side, whether it be the left hand or the right hand, it doesn't matter. And when we say k by itself, it has to be the positive k, can't be a negative k. All right, so in removing the square here, to remove the square, it's square root. So we square root to remove that square, and not just one side, but both sides. So square root removes square. So now we have k by itself here. And what's on the left-hand side? Square root. You see that big square root? It's over everything. All right, so square root 2a minus 3t divide by pi. And that would be your answer. All right, so let's zoom in a bit, zoom out a bit, so you can get that. So you can go ahead and you can get a solution of, all right? And if you have any question, go ahead and message that question in the comment section, right? And I will be happy to respond, right? So if you have any question whatsoever. Okay, so we're going to continue our question. Okay, so we're done with this question. Right, so we're down to this one now. And it says a farmer plants 2 crops, potatoes and corn, on 10 hectares piece of land. The number of hectares of corn planted, C, must be at least twice the number of hectares of potatoes, P. Write 2 inequalities to represent the scenario above. So a farmer plants 2 crops, potato, right? And what symbol they use to represent potato? P. Good. And corn. And we use the letter C to represent corn. They gave it here in the question. Right? So it was, oops. It was right here in the question. All right, so the letter C for corn and the letter P for potatoes. All right, so the next part is on a 10-hectare piece of land. The number of hectares of corn planted, C, must be at least twice the number of hectares of potatoes. So corn must be twice the number of potatoes. All right, so write 2 inequalities to represent the scenario above. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at is the fact that the corn planted, right? So corn planted must be at least twice the number of hectares of potatoes planted. So the first part is corn, we have 2C, and the number of hectares, and P for just a second. Okay, sorry about that. What's happening now? Oops.